Hey guys, so yeah, we're here tonight, and I think there's a something called, let me see, the LA mayoral debate live with Karen Bass and Spencer Pratt. So we're waiting for that to start basically so that we could jump into it, guys. Hope you guys are having a great night.
Seven contenders in the governor's race. Our second debate coming up at 7 right here on NBC4. Colleen Williams, Conan Nolan, and Enrique Chiabra will moderate, followed by a live post-debate show on the NBC Los Angeles streaming channel.
Basically survival, trying to make it to the day.
Yeah, struggles in the Golden State. The cost
Yeah, it
of
should be
living,
starting
immigration
soon.
enforcement, wildfire recovery. Coming up, the questions.
So we're waiting to see once that starts so we can jump into that, guys. I can kind of keep an eye on it and then put something else on for us to go through because there was a couple of things I wanted to watch with you guys and react to. Not much going on as per usual. I told you guys before that usually during like Monday through Wednesday, maybe even Thursday, we usually don't have much going on. It's not until we hit like Fridays and Saturday and Sunday where we have stuff popping off. But the thing with that is that as the weather gets nicer, it'll start spilling into the other days of the week. So right now, yeah, not much going on in the world. We're just all kind of here chilling as always. Don't know what else to talk about, guys, but I do know my allergies are acting up as per usual. Um, but we'll see what we got going on here, guys. I'm just getting everything ready for you guys. Sorry. I was running late today. This is what happens when you're, out and about and trying to run errands and you're just like, geez, trying to make it home in time to do everything. And you're like, dang it, dang it, dang it. Like you can't, it seems like you catch every freaking light and you're like, man, what's going on here today? But yeah, we're keeping an eye on that. I do have some things. Let me just pull them up for us, guys. 1 second. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, so while that's playing in the background, I'm keeping an eye on it, guys. Keep it tabs, keep it tabs. But I wanted to kind of just go over different things that I kind of had set up for us to watch, guys. So this is in regard to the Indiana election results, latest on Trump-backed GOP challenges. So this is basically an update to what we were watching yesterday.
Dustin Grove in the WTHR newsroom on what has become an historic election night here in Indiana, a primary election. One of the big headlines we're following is the growing number of state senators who have lost their seats tonight. President Trump went after a number of state senators who voted against his redistricting plan, and it appears to have worked. Take a look at this. So far, State Senate District 1, the incumbent, Dan Durnall, knocked off tonight by Trump-endorsed challenger Trevor DeVries. Over here, incumbent Linda Rogers lost her seat tonight to challenger Brian Schmutzler up in District 11. That's in the South Bend area.
We're cleaning house
Senate
tonight.
District 19.
Getting them rhinos out.
Blake Fichter defeated longtime high-ranking state senator Travis Holdman tonight. State Senate District 21, James Buck, in office since 1994, knocked off tonight by challenger Tracy Powell in a fierce fight with a lot of money in that district. State Senate District 23, this is a really close one. So Spencer Deary appears to be in the lead right now. This is a bit outdated. I was told that he is in the lead right now by just literally a handful of votes. Paula Copenhaver, I should say, is the Trump-endorsed challenger in that race. So that one is still too close to call. State Senate District 38. This is the lone state senator who has been retained, who kept his seat tonight. Greg Good winning with 83% of precincts reporting. He's got 54% of the vote. And then State Senate District 41 down here, the incumbent Greg Walker lost his seat tonight to challenger Michelle Davis. Political experts say this means President Trump basically can still have a major impact.
My dog
on
decides to run
statewide
over
races,
here
and you can bet lawmakers
and
in
ran
other
into
states
this
will
and
certainly
then
be
runs
taking
away
notice of
after
that.
she jumped
All right, I
it.
want to give you a rundown of what the numbers are looking like for our congressional House races right now. Let's start up in Northwest Indiana. House District 1, the Republican primary, Barb Regnitz winning that right now with 48% of the vote to her challengers, with 68% of precincts reporting. That has not been called yet. District 1, the Democratic side, incumbent Congressman Frank Mervyn, Dr. Frank Mervyn, keeping his seat for now, and moving on to November, he was able to defeat his challenger. Let's move over to the Democratic primary in District 2, DCO being called the winner, projected to be the winner in that race for District 2 in the Democratic primary. Republican District 3 primary up in Northeast Indiana, Marlon Stutzman, politician and longtime lawmaker from Northeast Indiana, winning that seat tonight. Now let's move to the Congressional 4th District. This was one that had a lot of Democrats in it, a very crowded field, but Drew Cox winning right now with 30% of the vote over Joe Mackey, the closest competitor. 94% of precincts reporting in the Congressional 4th District right now. Again, Drew Cox in the lead there. On the Republican side, this was certainly a high-profile race. Jim Baird has been declared the winner in that race, beating Craig Haggard 60% to 31%. So Congressman Jim Baird able to keep his seat for now moving into November. Let's move down to Indiana Congressional District 5. J.D. Ford, former state senator, hoping to become the next congressman for Congressional District 5. He won the Democratic primary tonight, and so he will face incumbent Republican Victoria Spartz in November. She defeated her challenger 60 to 40% tonight. Moving into the Democratic 6th Congressional District primary.
Yeah, these are all the races that the primaries where they
on the Democratic side, Congressional
where they're
6th
doing good.
Republican primary,
Like
Jefferson Tree
in regards to how the rhinos are basically getting booted out at this point.
With 92% reporting. To Indianapolis now, the Congressional District number 7. This was one to watch as well. Incumbent Congressman Andre Carson winning that tonight, 62%. This was the most competitive primary he's ever faced in his years in office as congressman in the 7th District. He will face Patrick McCulley in November. Patrick McCulley winning the District 7 Republican primary tonight. And moving into the 8th District down in Southwest Indiana, we have Allen declared the winner there with 68%. And Democratic District number 9, Meyer, leading right now 38% to Peck's 34%. You'll notice this one hasn't been declared yet because only 86% of precincts are reporting. So we'll continue to follow that one. All right, so that's a quick look at some of the big races we're following here in the WTHR newsroom. We have reporters throughout the area talking with the candidates. We're getting analysis and reaction. We'll have more updates for you coming up at 11 o'clock over on WTHR Channel 13 and here on WTHR Plus as well. We hope to see you then.
So yeah, that's the update in regards to the races. I think a lot of people were just so ecstatic that the rhinos got beat, and it was kind of setting off fire alarms for people because of the fact that, you know, since this is Indiana and they didn't want to do the congressional maps, Trump's like, I got you. And he was telling someone, hold my beer, you know, because all the candidates, well, almost all except for I think that one, all the candidates basically that Trump endorsed made it through. And the incumbents, which are the rhinos that were not trying to do the congressional map redistricting for gerrymandering, said bye because they're no longer there now. So this is, you know, kind of like Trump's revenge, I guess you could say. I look at it more like it's like a lesson or a warning shot to let everybody know that everybody's on the chopping block at this point. If y'all want to play this game and don't want to help Americans and pass like the SAVE Act or anything else, guess what? You're now at risk of losing your seat. So that's, to me, is totally awesome. Now, I have this video from the Black the Black Scout Survival. He has pretty good stuff. Make sure you guys go like and subscribe to him. And, you know, in regards to my channel, definitely like and subscribe, guys. And share. This way you guys can get, you know, your daily dose of me. But let's keep going.
Everybody's watching missiles. Everybody's watching the ships. Everybody's arguing in the comments like this is some damn football game. Oh, man, we're winning. No, we're not. They're losing. We destroyed them. Cool. Meanwhile, the one thing that actually is going to screw you, your grocery bill, your food, your ability to actually buy normal stuff, maybe even your life, nobody's even talking about it. And I'm sitting here watching and thinking, do people not understand how this works? Because what just got hit wasn't the headline. It was the system underneath it. Now, let me slow this down so nobody misses it. Right now, fertilizer, the stuff that literally makes crops grow, is getting squeezed hard. Shipping routes are under pressure, energy costs jumping, supply tightening. And here's the part that should make you pause for a second. A massive chunk of the world's fertilizer goes through one narrow stretch of water. And that stretch of water is sitting in the middle of everything heating up right now. So while everyone's focused on the explosions, all the ships are getting hit, the thing that feeds the entire system is sitting right there in the blast zone. And hold on, before somebody jumps in the comments, oh, here we go, doom and gloom conspiracy. No, this is basic cause and effect. You don't get food without fertilizer, period. And no one even understands the catastrophic consequence of what's going on. Let me be simple as possible. No fertilizer, less crop yield, less food, higher prices, shortages, supply and demand. That is not a theory. That is not political. And that ain't an opinion. That is how agriculture works. And I don't know why people act like food just appears in the back of Walmart like it's a freaking magic trick. Farmers don't just figure it out. They cut back, they use less, they plant less, or they just stop altogether. And when that happens, you don't feel it tomorrow, you feel it later. Check out, I'm going to play a clip from Bloomberg, them discussing this, the catastrophic impact of what's coming. And no one is even talking about it. Nobody's even thinking about it.
An access issue. So we've got not just a pricing issue, so a pricing cost issue. We've also got a challenge to actually get access to the product itself. So you've got the combination of a price shock and a supply shock, which is about to create a huge cataclysmic problem in the real economy, but in particular on food. And we saw this with the Black Sea, because we developed the Black Sea Agreement for the UN Secretary General, and we see similarities there because food pricing, the access to food, the inability to feed yourself, that's what gave rise to the Arab Spring. That's actually what causes political instability. So, as you say, this is not just an important conference. There's a series of important conversations, but there's an urgency about kind of getting some of these issues better understood. And the private sector understands these issues sometimes a lot better than the policymakers themselves.
John, I feel like there's something going on. You talk about this moment in time for Milken, but go back to the Russian invasion into Ukraine and the breadbasket to the world. And we saw grain prices certainly impacted. Go back to COVID. And
everybody remembers they couldn't get toilet paper. Nearly 60% of U.S. farmers say their finances are getting worse as fertilizer fuel costs rise. it's not even just the fertilizer, it's the fuel cost. But hey, don't worry. We took care of Argentina beef farmers. Remember, we did that. We took care of those guys. Argentina was much more important than our own food supply. Let's import our meat instead, right? Make America great again means getting stuff from outside the country, I guess. Steep fertilizer and fuel prices could squeeze U.S. farmers for months to come, right? Months to come. It could remain high into the next year. Yeah. And the thing is that the part where people get blindsided, because right now, everything looks normal to you. Shelves are full. People are ordering takeout, Uber Eats. Nobody's panicking, which exactly is why this is dangerous. Because by the time you feel it, the decisions that cause were made months ago. So all these people saying, we'll deal with it when it happens, no. Because it's not a light switch. You can't turn it on or off. It's a ripple effect. When it happens, you already missed that window. And this isn't some far out hypothetical. Prices are already moving. Farmers are already cutting back. Companies in this space are already warning about the downstream effects. Not maybe, but already. And once these decisions are made, you don't just reverse that overnight. You don't snap your fingers. Crops will grow faster. You don't regulate corn into growing quicker. And that's not how this works. The other thing is, what do you think?
The whole time I was talking with my mic off, guys.
To make the animals.
Dang, that means
you don't think that takes fertilizer too? It's not just crops. Oh, I don't eat salads. I only eat McDonald's. People living in a bubble. That's why I said on the internet, man. Yuri Besenval was so right about what he stated, 20, 30 years ago. They are destroying America. They have been. Ideological subversion. You can show facts to people, and they will fight you tooth and nail. One of the biggest things I've heard lately is something that the Democrats said during the Biden administration. They said the president doesn't control the gas prices. That was their defense.
Yeah, that was definitely their defense.
The conservatives, in turn, said, yes, he absolutely does. Now I'm hearing that same rhetoric from MAGA. Oh, the president doesn't control the gas prices. Well, let me tell you something. I agree with Donald Trump on this post he made. Arrived in Palm Beach, drove by a gas station, $4.50 a gallon, result of failed Barack Obama leadership. 4/6/2012. I agree with him. Failed leadership. Okay. But don't worry, guys. I'm sure the solution is going to be, hey, guys, food's getting tight, so we just passed the bill. Perfect. Yeah, just legislate the crops into obedience. Tell the wheat, hey, man, grow faster. We passed a resolution. I'm sure that'll fix it. Check out this news segment from California.
Leading to some growing concerns, right? Over this time, a farmer fertilizer shortage. A key port that moves 95% of fertilizer used in the Central Valley is having to pivot to new suppliers. Many of the current...
It's crazy because I believe we don't even get our fertilizer from here in America. Let's see. Let's ask good old Grok where we get our fertilizer. Because I could have sworn that I heard that we get it from either Mexico or China or something like that. So let's see what Grok has to say, guys. So he's thinking, guys, is thinking. The United States gets its fertilizer from a combination of strong domestic production and imports. Fertilizer needs mainly nitrogen and phosphorus and potassium vary significantly by type. So the domestic production is the nitrous and our imports. So the U.S. imports a meaningful portion of fertilizer, especially for peak season. So from major suppliers like Canada, Trinidad, Tobago, Russia, Middle East, like Saudi Arabia, Qatar. Others are like Peru, Israel. So Yeah, we don't get them from like here. So that's also why I believe with the whole thing with the Strait of Hormuz and all that stuff going on, they were saying like, yeah, it's gonna affect our crops and our yield because of the fact that we don't produce our fertilizer here. Honestly, it's not that hard because your girl, she's learning homesteading stuff. So like I know that you could actually make your own, not enough to, do a whole farm, because my spot is small, but I think you would need to do that for if you're trying to do a whole farm, like learn how to make your own fertilizer. But I understand why they need this from there because it's like a quick fix. But imagine what happens if we were to be in World War III. Where are we gonna here in America gonna get fertilizer? We're gonna have to learn how to do it old school, And I think a lot of people need to go back to basics, at least in my opinion, guys.
Suppliers come from shipments that are just stuck in the Persian Gulf.
In tonight's Politics at Large, Steve is live for us in Woodland.
Yep.
And I hear, but, we don't get our gas from Iran. People don't understand global economy.
With the impacts it could have, Steve.
Well, these fertilizer fears come at a critical time for California farmers as well. During the spring planting season, they're hoping this war with
This is the spring planting season. This is the time.
Yep.
A lot of farms are just not even trying to grow anything.
Iran doesn't spell doom for their crops. What are we looking at right here?
This is our fertilizer tank farm.
These huge tanks hold key ingredients to California's farm business.
So what we go through in a normal day is maybe a couple days worth of fertilizer here.
Pat Klingler is a sales manager for Wilbur Ellis Agribusiness that sells the fertilizer products to farmers across the Central Valley, who are now calling him concerned he could be running out.
This whole Iran conflict has changed the whole fertilizer dynamics.
The war with Iran has led to the price of fertilizer skyrocketing.
But guys, really, the most important thing right now is that $1 billion bill they're trying to push for the ballroom. That is the most important thing right now. I don't know if you saw that today. $1 billion. It went from, oh, the donors are paying for it. Oh, Lindsey Graham says 400 million, now $1 billion. You're not going to be able to eat.
Yeah, there's donors
eat
that were paying for that.
The crops aren't just going to grow overnight. And you can blame the farmers, but the supply and demand, simple economics, the less you have, the more expensive it is. Simple. You don't even have to be an economist to know that. The other thing is that if they don't produce, there's no food. It's not like you can just grow it overnight. There's seasons to this thing, okay? You can't grow specific crops during certain seasons. So what do you think is going to happen? We're going to have a global food crisis, an American food crisis coming your way. Not even to count the 13 Americans that died for senseless conflict.
The product urea is up 30% in the past month as Iran blocks shipping lanes at the Strait of Hormuz. The arrows on this map show the number of ships sitting inside the Persian Gulf.
95% of the fertilizer used in growing those crops moves through and is imported through the port of Stockton.
Stockton Port CEO Rick DeJesus says the travel time from the Persian Gulf to the Stockton port is 30 days. The American Farm Bureau has sent a letter to the president recommending to use the U.S. Navy to provide and maintain safe and reliable maritime transit for fertilizer shipments through the Strait of Hormuz.
The production's still there. The supply is still there. Getting it from there to here is where the difficulty lies.
So if you hit a point where it's not showing up, it puts a scare into the whole market.
The fertilizer fueling California's crops and fears of a supply shortage, leaving some farmers feeling their livelihoods are in limbo.
You'd hate to run out. You got a lot of money invested in the crop.
So that's a snapshot from local news in California. It's happening in Ohio, all the big farm territories. But this is where things get interesting. Every time there's instability, it's never just one thing. There's layers. Energy gets hit, shipping gets hit, supply chains get stressed. Then agriculture starts taking pressure. You guys remember the debacle under Pete Buttigieg's leadership where they had the cargo logjam while he was on maternity leave. You remember that, right? Yeah, we remember that.
Yep.
When multiple layers get hit at the same time, that's when things just don't bend, they break. So the question becomes, is this just random chaos, or is this one of those situations where everything starts tightening at the same time? We've seen this before, not exactly like this, but the pattern is the same. Disrupt fertilizer, food prices follow. Disrupt energy, food prices follow. Stress the system upstream, downstream effects always shows up later. The only difference now is everything is moving faster and everything is just more connected. Remember the grain shortage during Ukraine, Russia conflict at the beginning? I guarantee you when this hits, people are going to act like it came out of nowhere. They will. They'll blame the food manufacturers. They're going to say, how did this happen? It didn't just happen. You're literally watching it happen right now. But because it is not the sexy topic of the week, it is not something, the junk food, conservative gossip, YouTube videos, you're not paying this any attention. The craziest part is most people won't connect it. They'll blame stores. They'll blame corporations. They'll blame inflation. They'll blame politics. They won't trace it back to the fact the system got hit upstream and now the ripple is moving downstream. And that's how this works every single time, right? And how it shows up is going to be your grocery bill already creeping up. Meat prices already getting stupid. Random shortages that just don't make sense. Quality getting worse. Not overnight, slow, quiet. Until one day you're standing in the store like, why is everything weird right now? Well, you saw it. You could just take RFK Jr.'s advice and eat the cheap meats.
And this is true all over the country. There's a lot of good food in grocery stores that goes away. Most of the cheap cuts of meat are very inexpensive. If you buy a porterhouse steak or a strip steak, it is gonna set you back. You can buy liver or the cheaper cuts of steak that are very, very affordable.
That sounds like some new
so nasty.
NWO garbage is what that sounds like. Eat the crickets. All the steaks are for the elites, doesn't it? That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Very reminiscent of that. I remember talking about that during the Biden administration, this type of stuff. But now, because it's the right side.
Yeah, I remember, if you guys remember that, that was when Nicole Kidman was showing everybody like, oh yeah, it's so yummy, with the video of her trying to convince people to eat the bugs, Let me show you that video really quick. So let's go. Just so you guys can have the idea of understanding what I'm talking about. This is just like nuts, Let me get that video for you guys real quick. Okay. So this is the video I was talking about. So Nicole Kidman eating the bugs.
And I am going to eat a 4-course meal of bugs.
So gross.
I am here to reveal my hidden talent, eating micro livestock, cornworms. They're still alive. Extraordinary. Very moist, chewy. Can't quite describe the flavor, but need a little water. Let's try the second course, shall we? Just a little side note. 2 billion people in the world eat bugs, and I'm one of them. Because here we go. Have some mealworms.
I definitely don't want to be one of them.
I'm telling you, I'd win Survivor. That is a fruity taste. I'd recommend it. Here we have. Oh, crickets. Oh, nothing. Oh.
Gross. It's so nasty, guys.
Listen. Like nothing you've ever tasted. Like a hairy nut.
Gross.
Oh my gosh. A nut from the shell. And now for dessert, the fried grasshopper. These
So gross.
Are amazing. These are exquisite grasshoppers.
I wonder how
I
much they
recommend
paid
them
her to do this.
to anyone. Thank you for spending so much time with me and watching me eat bugs. Till next time.
Yeah, so that's her eating bugs, guys. That was so nasty. Like so nasty. Yeah. Ew. But that was them trying to convince people like, "Oh yeah, you want to eat the bugs. They're so yummy. Oh my God. It's better than eating like, steak or fish and yada yada." Just like, nah, I'm good. I'm Gucci.
It's okay. We'll eat liver pudding. We'll eat the crickets, the cricket flour. Oh, it's got protein in it.
Not this girl.
It's wild. Wild. Everybody's in a cult. Blue and red. It doesn't matter. Everybody's in a freaking cult. No one can see past their political blinders. And guys, this isn't about panic. It's about awareness, because the people who see it early move differently. The people who don't, they react late. In the situations like this, late means expensive. And by the time everybody's talking about it, you won't be early anymore. I'm early today telling you. I'm telling you early. You're not going to hear anybody else talk about it until the shelves are empty. Anyway, guys, it's Black Scout Survival. Stay frosty, stay strapped.
Yeah, so he's not the first one to talk about this. If you guys watch like the Canadian Prepper, he's another one that's been talking about this for a while, about the elites, and the New World Order, how they're wanting everybody to just, eat the bugs. And so, yeah, it's not surprising at all, guys. Not surprising at all that they would want to make sure that we can do that. Because, of course, these people are the people that are going to want to save the good stuff for themselves. Think of it like in the movie, what was that? The remake of, was it called The Day of the Dead or Land of the Dead? Something like that, where John Leguizamo was in. And you had like all these rich people that were staying in this beautiful tower, and all the poor people were basically living on the streets. Yeah, that's basically how these people are. So I am definitely not going to be one of those people. I've already got like books on, stuff that I can eat that are like plants, as well as learning how to grow my own food, so I don't have to depend on anybody but myself. But let's go on and move on while we're still waiting for the debates to start. We're going to go ahead and move into live now from Fox. Zombieland: federal agents conduct massive drug raid in Los Angeles, which is ironic because we're going to be watching the LA mayoral debate. So this is hilarious.
News that we are following for you out of Los Angeles. This is a live look right now of Sky Fox aerials where the federal agents are conducting a major drug seizure and bust that is happening out in Los Angeles at the MacArthur Park area. You can take a look at massive amounts of DEA agents that are on the scene. Also, the CMS administrator, Dr. Oz, is also at the scene as well. Here's what we know at this hour here. At least 300 DEA agents, DOJ agents, as well as police are on the scene in this anti-narcotics operation across several locations in Los Angeles, and these sweeps are continuing right now as we are learning that the main target here is fentanyl, and this was a little bit earlier, some ground shots that we're able to bring to you as well of these agents going through businesses right now and conducting this massive search. Back out live now, Sky Fox aerials again showcasing what is happening right now. This coming just a little bit ago on X from the United States U.S. Attorney putting this out, saying Operation Free MacArthur Park federal agents have taken control of MacArthur Park to execute federal arrest and search warrants targeting the notorious open-air drug market there. We are going after street dealers and suppliers of massive amounts of fentanyl and methamphetamine. Over the past 24 hours, federal and local law enforcement have started arresting 25 defendants charged in a federal criminal complaint with possessing and distributing dangerous narcotics, including fentanyl and meth. The park's #1 drug trafficker in a federal custody and faces possible life imprisonment. So right now, what we want to do is just showcase a little bit of the sound. Earlier, just moments ago, Fox 11 talking with the U.S. Attorney right here. Let's listen in on Live Now.
We are here at MacArthur Park today. We're reclaiming the park for the citizens of Los Angeles. This park's been overtaken by gang members, 18th Street Gang, who tags their logos here thinking they own the place, by drug dealers, drug users. It's zombie land, and we're taking it back. So today we're executing 25 arrest warrants, 8 federal search warrants. We're hitting the businesses along Alvarado here that are used to stash the drugs, that are used to sell to people in MacArthur Park. And so we're going after the street dealers. The days of dealing drugs and using drugs openly in MacArthur Park are over.
So essentially you're saying that these businesses are stash houses?
I'm not saying that. That's what the judge said. The judge signed the search warrants. We've been surveilling this area for the last couple of months. We have very sophisticated surveillance teams. We know exactly who's dealing, where they're getting the drugs from, which businesses they're storing it at. We submitted those affidavits to a judge, and the judge gave us permission to search these businesses today.
Fentanyl, meth?
All of it. Cash, guns, drugs. We expect to find all of that here today.
And this is part of the broader arrest taking place across the city.
Yeah, look, when President Trump made it clear that we're going to make America safe again, this is part of that. We're not putting up with open-air drug markets. California's policies have allowed this. They've decriminalized drug dealing, drug use. You could talk to drug dealers. They have no fear in the state of California. They know if they're arrested under state law, they'll be out in a couple hours. No one is afraid of the criminal justice system in California. But guess what? Today they're going to be arrested by the feds. And they're not looking at a couple hours, they're going to look at 10 years minimum in federal prison. So the big boys are here. We're taking the park back.
Operation Free MacArthur Park?
Operation Free MacArthur Park. This is General MacArthur, is who the park's named after. He's a war hero, and we are not going to let it get taken over by gang members and drug dealers. That's not happening.
This is in cooperation with the city, too.
Yeah, look, I mean, LAPD is a partner in this. They're a great partner. They're happy to have us. We're happy to have them. And they want this. It's not their fault. It's the policies in Sacramento that have enabled this and allowed it to flourish. And so the federal government is coming here to help the city of Los Angeles, to help the people of LA get their property back.
I think my last thing, and you know this, but residents see MacArthur Park, and it's hard not to drive through here and see all these people breaking the law.
Yeah, openly and notoriously. Those days are over. And we'll come back as many times as we need to. This is not a one and done. But we're hoping this will send a strong message, whether it's 18th Street Gang or MS-13, who thinks they control the south part, or to the drug dealers. Those days are over. We've got over 300 agents here. We're not going anywhere, and we got bigger guns than they do. So that's the message.
All right.
All right, a lot of sound bites right there, no doubt, from the U.S. attorneys calling this area zombie land and saying that the federal agents have bigger guns than the ones that are cartel leaders in this area. Take a look right now. It's still live for you. Sky Fox aerials continuing to showcase this massive drug bust in Los Angeles. Also on X, the acting attorney general, Todd Blanche, putting this out just moments ago, saying agents from the DEA and officers from the LAPD have taken back MacArthur Park to the drug dealers poisoning the streets of Los Angeles. Your safe haven is gone. And again, let's just show you again these live aerials that we're able to bring to you. It's being called Operation Free MacArthur
That's
Park.
insane.
This major drug bust involving 300 federal agents that have been planning this for weeks and months. This takedown and crackdown happening right now in broad daylight. So again, we are showcasing this to you. If we get any more sound on the ground, we will, of course, bring that to you live, and also track the developments with Fox 11 Los Angeles that will be giving updates in their nightly newscast as well. But again, showcasing this live aerials happening right now over MacArthur.
Oops.
All right, welcome back to Live Now. I'm Austin Westfall. Marie.
Okay, stop talking. I accidentally pressed the button to go to the next one. Yeah, this situation with what's going on
with some breaking news
with the zombie land federal agents, that's crazy, guys. That's insane. I think like when you go and look at what's going on in Portland and in LA and all these like blue areas, and them like allowing all these people to either, like defecate on the street. Because, I believe it's in Portland where they have their own poop police, that you could report it and they'll come, I guess, to clean it. It's crazy. But yeah, it's showing you that if we're going to accept, people doing all this kind of stuff on the streets, it's just going to increase homelessness, because you're going to have a lot of people that are just going to be whacked out on drugs, and it's not going to make your city look better. It's not going to help your citizens by giving them drugs and giving them, those dopamine hits that they need. It's just going to make your city worse. And it's going to increase, like, not only that, but it will increase, like, let's say, the violence that's going to be coming out of that, So I think for that situation, yeah, that's just bad. I'm glad that, the feds are coming in to, like, look at that and take care of that, but it's just insane at this point, But yeah, still nothing yet with with these what you call it? The governor's debate. California governor debate, watch discussing homeless. So it looks like there's a couple of debates going on. We're just waiting for one of them to go live. It looks like there's also the governor debate again. I know there's the mayoral debate. So we have a couple of debates going on. This depends on which one we should kind of watch. But none of them have started yet. Like, I wish it started, because that would be cool, so that we could kind of just jump into it and, kind of just have a good laugh. I think, like, these debates are hilarious. Just watching people, like, literally just freak out. It's just funny as heck. Let's see. Is it starting yet? Hello. Thanks for that one, but I'm not, I don't know where I put it, guys. I think I lost it. But either way, we'll just kind of move on and look at something else while we figure this all out, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and watch this. This is an AI video supporting Spencer Pratt's LA mayoral candidate, and this goes viral. Like, your girl, she likes Arkham and Harley Quinn and what have you. And so I find this video to be hilarious. So let's go ahead and watch this together, guys.
A dystopian scene playing out in this viral AI-generated video that's adding fuel to an already fiery race for the next mayor of Los Angeles. It depicts a burning Hollywood sign and Republican mayoral candidate Spencer Pratt, a former reality TV star, as a Batman-like character. His Democratic foes hosting a lavish dinner are portrayed in an unflattering light, to say the least. Democratic incumbent Mayor Karen Bass looks like the Joker. Democratic challenger Nithya Raman as a puppet.
Let's move the drug addicts closer.
And California Governor Gavin Newsom as royalty.
There's homeless drug addicts in front of the schools. My children aren't safe.
Look, if you were a transgender migrant... Other celebrities also making appearances. The political parody racking up millions of views online. And if you think it's a glimpse into the future of political messaging, welcome to 2026. It's now. Even former Florida Governor Jeb Bush calling it maybe the best political ad of the year. But it's not clear this is exactly a political ad. It was made by Menace Studio, a production company that says it's pioneering synthetic images. The founder posting the evening of May 4th, quote, "I think I have to make a Spencer Pratt ad," and then dropping this video the next morning, perhaps a sign of how quickly such content can be produced. Neither the company nor the Pratt campaign responded to our request for comment on who paid for or commissioned the work. Facebook. Spencer Pratt retweeted the video. Bass, Rahman, and Newsom did not immediately respond to our request for comment on use of their likenesses in the video. We also reached out to Warner Brothers for comment on the use of imagery associated with Batman and did not hear back. Using AI-generated videos to send a political message isn't new. Newsom himself posted a video in December responding to a White House post showing the president, Pete Hegseth, and Stephen Miller in handcuffs.
Stupid.
The White House is also not shy
These people
about
are
using
so
AI
dumb.
for shock factor. Just yesterday on Cinco de Mayo, posting this fake photo of minority leaders Hakeem Jeffries
have a lot
and
of
Chuck
topics to
Schumer in
cover today.
sombreros with a sign that says, "I love illegal immigrants." At least 15 campaign ads featuring AI-generated content have run since November, stoking fears the new tech could mislead voters ahead of the midterm elections.
With AI, you more and more can put words in people's mouths. You can have all sorts of candidates say things that they never really said, positions that they never really took. And that is something that is really terrifying.
At least 24 states already have laws regulating the use of political deepfakes in elections.
Oh, sorry, guys. That was just kind of lame. I thought they were going to go into more detail about the video because it was funny. So instead, I'm just going to bring you guys this video. So here we go. Rewind it so you guys can see it.
Please, I'm begging you. There's homeless drug addicts in front of the schools. My children aren't safe.
Look, if you were a transgender migrant, I could get you a free pussy.
Let's move
Jesus.
the drug addicts closer.
Bass already solved crime. I endorse her.
Wolverine.
I just want to rebuild my home. It's been over a year.
Mom, look.
This is a machine. If we want to burn this town to the ground, pull through that!
Okay, that video is hilarious, guys. Like super, super funny. Well, let's go ahead and watch this.
That is up to the discretion of the moderators here. If a candidate goes over their time, we'll give them a warning. If it happens repeatedly, the candidate could get fewer.
Actually, why don't we go to this? We're going to watch it. I think it's going to start in about a minute. Instead, we'll watch the governor race.
Choir take it away with the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see?
This looks like this is still the governor's race for California.
And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does the star-spangled banner
Interesting. Interesting.
California, the world's fourth largest economy, an innovation juggernaut, and home to the world's newest frontier, artificial intelligence. And yet, it's one of the most unaffordable states in which to live.
Every day, people are having to make those tough decisions between gas, utility prices, and of course, food on the table for their children.
As costs rise, Hollywood flees, and homelessness remains a common theme. Many people are left rethinking their California dream.
I knew right then and there, my life was never going to be the same. Our dreams moving forward would never be the same.
Now, voters get to decide.
Who's going to reshape the state?
Our country, it's a dire situation.
The bureaucracy that burns the industry, burns businesses.
It's a really special thing that we have, and to lose it would be a real tragedy.
And that decision starts now as we question the leading candidates vying for the state's top job. Former U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary Xavier Becerra, Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco, former Fox News host Steve Hilton, San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan, former Orange County Representative Katie Porter, billionaire Tom Steyer, and former LA Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa. NBC4 and Telemundo 52 present Decision 2026.
A fight for California's future, the debate for governor.
And welcome to the beautiful Skirball Cultural Center, a place that brings people and communities together. Good evening, everyone. I'm Colleen Williams. We are broadcasting live across the state. The top candidates for governor of California have one last televised debate to make their pitch to voters before the primary in June. Tonight, NBC4 and Telemundo 52, in partnership with FOMU, are bringing you the final statewide debate to California voters, actually. I'm joined by my colleagues, Conan Nolan from NBC4, our chief political reporter, and Telemundo 52 news anchor, Enrique Quiabra.
¿Qué tal? Buenas noches a todos. In the next hour, we'll be asking the leading candidates questions that are going to showcase their differences. We're broadcasting and streaming in both English y también en español.
You got a mosquito bite, guys.
Away from the election, the ballots are in the mail. They're actually already have arrived. The top two finishers face off in the November general election, regardless of party. These are the highest polling candidates. One of them is going to be the next governor.
Our goal tonight is really to explore the positions of all the candidates you see here. Our questions will focus on the job and the responsibility of the governor. The candidates will have 60 seconds to respond to questions, 30 seconds for rebuttals. Again, that is at the discretion of the moderators here, and 30 seconds for follow-ups. For our live audience, please hold your applause. Question number one goes to you, Conan.
That's right, Colleen. In deference to you, one note here. You had a bit of a food fight last night on another debate. We'd prefer that not happen here. We want a competition of ideas. Please don't interrupt for the benefit of the voters and the viewing public. So let's talk about the issue of housing. The Department of Finance last week said, yes, more people are leaving the state than are arriving. We know that. Employers, unless you're an AI company in San Francisco, are having a hard time finding people to take jobs in this state because they can't afford to live here. Everybody has said we need more housing. We need to build more housing, but I'd like some specifics. Mr. Hilton, we'll start with you. In our conversation, you said we need more subdivisions and to link them by freeways. Do I have that right?
Yes, the California dream was built on that idea of owning your own home. And right now we have the highest housing costs in the country and the lowest home ownership. Young people saying to me all the time, I can't imagine making my life in California because I'll never be able to own my own home. We've got to change direction on housing. Yes, we've got to simplify the regulations that make it so expensive, 2 or 3 times more expensive to build housing compared to other states. Yes, we have to stop the hidden taxes on house building. But the big change we need to make, which the Democrats on this stage aren't prepared to make, is to end this ideology which says the only acceptable form of housing is to shove apartment buildings into suburban neighborhoods. We've stopped building the kind of starter homes and single-family homes we used to build so well in California that made the California dream a reality. And that is what I will get back to as governor, to restore that California dream of home ownership.
Thank you, Mr. Steyer.
So
The biggest problem in California is Californians can't afford to live here anymore. And the number one part of that is housing. And in order to solve our housing problems, there are a bunch of things we have to do. So we have to shorten permitting times and make them less expensive. For sure, everyone on this stage will say that. I believe in zoning densely near public transportation. And I believe that the way to drive down costs per square foot by at least a third is by constructing off-site and then putting together on-site. But there's some other things I'll do that no one else on this stage will say. I'm going to close a corporate real estate tax loophole for $22 billion a year that's going to go to the cities and counties. And that's going to make them willing to permit housing and to make it happen. They're standing in the way because housing is an unfunded liability for them. I'm going to fund it. And lastly, our community bank, nonprofit community bank, has financed 17,000 low-income housing units. The state of California needs to use finance.
Thank you, Mr. Starr.
Finance low-income units and also for down payment assistance.
Thank you. Sheriff Bianco?
Yes, we certainly can't afford to live here anymore, and it's exactly, solutions like that are exactly why you can't afford to live here anymore and why you will never be able to afford to live in California anymore. Unfortunately, in the position we are, I'll stick up for Steve unless you elect Steve or I, because the policies that the rest of the people on this stage are proposing to all of you is just a repeat of all of the problems that got us here in the first place. You can't afford a home in California because the builders cannot afford to build homes because of the excessive regulations in California. With me as your governor, we will become, for the first time in many decades, a building empire in our country. We will build more homes than we have ever built before because we will allow builders to build them. We will remove the restrictions and the regulations that prevent it right now, and those restrictions come from CEQA, they come from the Coastal Commission, they also even from on the outside in CARB. But regulations are the key to afford housing in California.
Secretary Becerra, when we had an interview, you said that housing should be based on how many people we want to live in California. We have to determine what essentially our population. Do I have that right? And can you explain in your 1 minute, what did you mean by that?
Sure, Conan. We have to make sure we understand how many homes we need. And you can't understand how many homes you need unless you know how many people are coming to California. I remember when my parents told me the story when they got here, they had $12 in their pocket, yet they got to live that California dream. They purchased a home. They were able to give my 3 sisters and I far more than they ever had. And that's what we have to get back to, is giving every family that opportunity. I will make sure that down payment assistance programs are expanded under my watch, because today California families are essentially buying a house. They're just buying it for the landlord, because in their rental payments, they're essentially paying the mortgage. How about we do this? How about we help you get that last cog in the process of buying a house, the down payment. Then when you pay a monthly payment, it's not for rent, it's to own the home. How about we make sure Wall Street isn't the person you're bidding against when you're trying to buy that house? That is unfair when Wall Street can outbid you. Third, how about we streamline regs, make CEQA work, because CEQA was meant to help protect communities, not to stop housing.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Congresswoman Porter?
Yeah, housing is personal to me. It's personal to me because I've spent a large part of my career working on helping families who couldn't afford housing, who were the victims of predatory lenders or were facing eviction. It's also personal to me because I'm raising 3 teenagers here, one of whom I think there's a pretty good chance he's going to wind up living on my couch if we don't figure out how to build more affordable housing. It's not enough to just build housing for those who are here. We have to build enough housing for California to grow our economy. And it's not enough to just build more. We have to build it less expensively than we are now. Building faster is building cheaper. If we build faster, we can take 10 or 20% off the cost of rent and mortgages. That is a lot of money back in the pockets of California. We also need to innovate into construction technique, architectural design, manufacturing, and housing finance. When I'm governor, Californians will have a 5% down payment on their houses, not 20.
Thank you. Mr. Mahan, in answering this as a mayor, should the state get involved in zoning? It's normally a local municipality that decides what housing's built.
Well, thanks, Conan. If cities don't do their job, the state absolutely has to intervene and hold them accountable. I'm running for governor to deliver the kinds of results I've delivered as mayor of our third largest city. When we weren't building housing, we cut permitting times, cut red tape, reduced one-time fees, and got thousands of homes under construction. We built interim housing and moved thousands of people indoors. We've expanded backyard cottages for grandparents and kids coming back from college. We've actually gotten housing built. The entire state of California needs those kinds of results today to create upward mobility for our kids and our grandkids. While we're on the topic of leadership, though, I want to be really clear. We do not need the leadership that MAGA candidates on this stage are offering that's divisive. We don't need the leadership of a billionaire who's now against everything he made his money in, or a career politician who has failed again and again to deliver results.
He's trying to remember his lines.
Right.
Hilarious.
Okay. Mayor Villaraigosa.
You know, my mother struggled to make ends meet, a single mom, so for most of my life we rented. I bought a home at 25 years old. Young families can't do that right now. The average down payment is $140,000. So the first thing we need to do is support down payment assistance. There's an initiative on the ballot, no cost to the taxpayers, that will build 150,000 homes and provide that kind of first-time assistance. Secondly, streamline permitting. But let me remind you all, those of you who live in LA, when I was mayor, we went from 20,000 units of housing downtown to 60,000. We transformed downtown, built more housing, market rate, workforce, affordable, and homeless housing in 8 years, 4 years of recession, than the 12 years before that. The next governor's got to roll up their sleeves and get the job done. I will as the next governor.
Thank you.
Next question. A lot of people in the state of California think insurance is at a crisis situation. California investigation this week found State Farm mishandled and delayed claims from the wildfires. Major insurance companies have either pulled out of the state of California or they're stopped writing policies, new policies altogether. Many people feel California's FAIR Plan is the insurer of last resort. It is expensive any way you look at it. What would you do to help homeowners, and especially those waiting to rebuild? We're still waiting a year later and haven't received a check. Be specific on this. Secretary Becerra, we're going to start with you. You have 1 minute.
So I have called for a freeze of insurance rates for the very reason you've pointed out. Most Californians don't understand why they are losing their insurance. My mom last year lost insurance coverage for a home she has that she had paid for over 30 years. I don't believe she ever filed a claim on that home. And all of a sudden, her insurance company just dropped her without explanation. That is not fair. There are people still in the Palisades and Altadena who haven't received payment. They haven't received the timeline when they're going to be paid.
What specifically would you do to help those folks?
And Kathleen, I was going to get to that. I'm just trying to make sure we explain the problem because it's real for everybody. And that's why I'm calling for a freeze, because those companies ought to tell us. We are entitled to know why they continue to raise our rates, why they get out of Dodge when the going gets tough. We have to make sure they are there when we need them. We have to make sure we go through that audit, and I will make sure that we base insurance on the rates based on risk and risk based on mitigation that's been done to reduce your risk.
Secretary Becerra, thank you. Ms. Porter.
Yeah, we can't afford to freeze rates because what will happen is every insurer remaining in this state will leave. And if people cannot get insurance, they will not build more houses. They will not build green energy projects. The solution is more insurers competing for rates.
Exactly.
I'm a consumer protection advocate. I have spent my life taking on corporations with or without a whiteboard who lie, cheat, or steal. And there's a lot of evidence that that is exactly what State Farm has done here. These folks are victims, and they need someone who isn't taking corporate contributions from the very insurers that they claim they will hold responsible. The solution is to bring insurers back into the market, to do the things that we've already done here in terms of allowing premiums to be written to the risk at the household level, and to address climate change risk and invest in our firefighting service.
Mayor Mahan, you have 60 seconds.
Well, Javier, I can tell you why the insurance companies left and stopped writing policies and why your plan will only make it worse. We effectively told them they couldn't use climate data to actually model the amount of risk. We effectively told them they had to lose money by writing new policies. So the answer is bring them back, as Katie said, have them compete to bring down costs. Now, if they slow roll the payment of claims that they need to pay, then yes, let's sue them and hold them accountable. But the truth is the state of California broke the insurance market. We need to bring them back, have them compete, and the state and the federal government have to take responsibility for reducing wildfire risk around all of our urban areas by clearing brush, thinning forests, and reducing the risk of the catastrophic fires that are driving up insurance costs. It's not rocket science, but price caps will only make it worse. It'll be impossible to bring insurance companies back to California.
Mayor, thank you. Mayor Villaraigosa.
Mr. Mahan and my friend to my left here are right, everybody. The reason why we got here, this is the only state that didn't do catastrophic modeling, the only state that didn't do reinsurance, and the only state that took longer than 3 months to pass a rate hike. So the entire industry left the bigot market. So the notion that we would freeze insurance rates, the governor can't do that. Two, it's just going to make it worse. Now, let me say something about the FAIR plan, because I'm on it. The FAIR plan is not fair. If I lost my house today, the FAIR plan wouldn't compensate for me. Maybe 3 bedrooms, and that's about it. At the end of the day, we have to make the FAIR plan something that works for more people until we bring the market back. Once we bring the market back, of course we're going to hold them accountable when they're not paying the insured appropriately.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. Mr. Hilton.
So just a couple of observations on what we heard in the previous answers. I love all the stories of the California dream for some of my friends and colleagues on this stage, but the California dream they're talking about happened when you had a Republican governor in California. And that's what we need to get back to restore it. Matt Mahan talked about housing. His city
So when you had
was
like
just
the old
rated
school
the least affordable
Democrats,
for
like
housing
before
in the world.
the Overton
So
window
what
shifted,
that all points
you
to
know,
is that
because
actually,
people
if we
that were
want change in
center used to
California on all
be
these issues, we
Democrats,
can't
like left
keep
leaning,
doing the same
and
thing over and
some
over
of the
again.
people that were
Specifically on
like on the
insurance,
right
the
at
things we
like
haven't
the
heard
precipice of
that
it,
I
like the
would do as
beginning,
governor is
were
number one,
center.
enforce
But
the
because the
actual
Overton window
regulation
shifted
in the
so
original
far,
Proposition 103
where
that set up
the
our
crazy
insurance
lefts are now
commission
taking over, and
and the
now they're considered
regulations around it, which
Democrats
says
instead
that
of
rate
progressive.
changes need to be approved in
The
60
people that were
days.
center are
Now
now
it takes
considered
over a year.
right
That's
leaning,
one of the
which is
reasons
crazy.
that
And the
they're
people
leaving.
that
And the other
are
massive one,
normal right leaning are now considered far
lawsuits
right.
are adding
Like,
sometimes
it's
up to
just crazy.
$15,000
And
a
I
year
think those
onto
old school liberals and old
insurance
school
premiums,
Democrats
and
are
these
what we need
Democrats
to
want
get
to
back
change
to
it
in
because they are
regards
funded
to,
by the
Mr. Hilton,
trial lawyers.
thank you so much.
I
Mr.
guess,
Steyer.
kind of
So,
balancing
can I
those
go?
scales
We've
again.
had, Steve's right that we've had the least affordable.
Mayor? Oh, I'm asking for specifics on this. We'll get back to you in just a moment. Mr. Steyer.
So I think I know as much about business as anyone on this stage, and people are right. This is a huge home insurance market, and we need to harden the homes, and we need to reduce the catastrophic risk, and everyone's describing how we need to make it possible for insurance companies to come here and make money. But the truth is, someone has to stand up for Californians when people are going after them. And as someone who's been to Altadena and talked to the people there and see how they've suffered, not just financially, but the stress that it's put in their lives, and the fact that the insurance companies are slow rolling them, and the fact that SoCal Edison is slow rolling them, and the fact that FEMA is slow rolling them. Yeah, I absolutely believe we should have an insurance market, and as governor, I'll make sure we reduce catastrophic risk. But as governor, I'm going to stand up for the people of California when corporations are taking advantage of them. And we are seeing that right now in Altadena and Pacific Palisades. And it's the governor's job to stand up and fight and make sure those people pay the claims, pay the FEMA, and pay the cost of having caused the fire in the first place.
Sheriff Bianco.
Yeah, thank you. So the difference between me and everyone else, after I'm your governor, is I'm not going to lie to you about what's causing this problem in the first place. And I have some very dire news for all of you. The insurance companies are not going to come back if another Democrat is elected, especially the ones that are on this stage, because the reasons why they left is because of failed Democrat policies that forced them to leave. A government cannot force a business to go into bankruptcy, and the insurance companies repeatedly told our legislature and our governor that our environmental policies that prevent our fire department from creating defensible space around our homes and our properties was going to lead to multiple cities being destroyed. And unfortunately, we saw it in the Palisades. And unfortunately for the Palisades victims, the insurance companies, our governor called their bluff and they left the state, leaving all of them, most of them, without insurance. We absolutely will get rid of CEQA and the Coastal Commission. The fire department will clear defensible space, and naturally the insurance companies will come back and our rates will go down.
Mayor Mahan, because San Jose was mentioned, you have 30 seconds to respond.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, Steve's right. San Jose is expensive. It has been since before I was born. But as a leader in an elected office, I took ownership for that and challenged City Hall to do better. That's what we need to ask of Sacramento. We reduced fees. We sped up permitting, we cut the red tape, and we got thousands of homes under construction. We're not going to fix California's housing market overnight, but we can hold ourselves accountable for implementing common sense policies that bring investment in home building back to California and create room for working families and younger generations.
So on a different topic, yesterday the vice chair of the California Energy Commission told the legislature we have 4 to 6 weeks left of fuel if the Iranian war continues. Now, if a bill comes before you, I want to know, do you sign it or do you veto it? And this bill would be whether to seek an increase in oil production in Kern County in the Central Valley. The governor of this state was not a big fan of oil. He's actually changed his tune a little bit on that. Yes or no? This is the bill. Do you sign it or do you veto it? Mayor Villaraigosa.
Yes.
Congresswoman Porter.
Can you repeat the question?
So would you advocate for an increase in oil production in the state? Western states point...
no.
Okay, all right.
No.
All right, very good. Mr. Sheriff Bianco.
Absolutely.
Mr. Hilton.
We don't need a bill. I'll get it done directly as governor by instructing the California Department of Geologic and Energy Management to open up oil production. This is the problem with Democrats. Endless legislation instead of just getting the job done.
We're going to veto it next time. Mr. Steyer.
No.
All right. Mr. Secretary Becerra.
Versus importing? Yes.
Mayor.
Yes, we also should stop pushing all of our refining capacity out of state and importing dirtier oil from thousands of miles away. It doesn't make sense.
One other thing, everybody has an opinion about this. You don't need to go into detail. It'll cost another $30 billion to finish California high-speed rail from Merced to Bakersfield. We've got the viaduct laid. We have overpasses. Do you finish it? Yes or no? Mayor Villaraigosa.
Yes.
Congresswoman Porter.
Yes, if you can build it faster and cheaper than it's been projected.
Okay. Sheriff Bianco.
No, I would rather arrest the people that stole our money.
All right.
That would be on brand for you, doing things that are illegal.
No, stop spending taxpayers' money on pointless things and improve our roads, which are the worst in the country because of Democrat policies.
Mr. Steyer.
Yes, we need
Secretary
public transportation.
The slow-speed delivery of high-speed rail, no, but a high-speed delivery of high-speed rail, yes.
What does that mean?
Well,
that means we get rid of all the bureaucracy that has caused all this litigation.
We try to make the call.
I don't think anyone here
our money's worth.
The bill's on your desk. Do you say yes or do you veto it?
Is that to me?
Yes.
I said, I don't want to do it the way it's been done because we've overspent, but yes, we're going to build high-speed rail.
It's a yes or no question, bro.
High-speed rail.
Conan, I would send it back to the legislature and say, fix CEQA, reduce litigation risk, let's fix the regulatory environment, and then I'll sign the bill.
Okay, thank you.
So that's a
let's talk
veto.
about companies leaving California. So companies are moving their headquarters out of California, SpaceX, Tesla, Oracle, Hewlett Packard, so many companies. Those are just a few of the corporations that are going to more tax-friendly states. My question to all of you is, how can you reduce the state's high unemployment rate when so many employers are leaving the state? We're going to start with Mr. Mahan.
Well, look, the reality is, just like with the insurance market, the housing market, what we're talking about is California has regulated itself to death. And much regulation makes sense. We're protecting workers and the environment. But when projects get caught up in years of litigation, or getting a permit to open a restaurant takes a year. You kill the ability for entrepreneurs and small business owners to actually create a future here. So we've got to actually fix our underlying regulations and make it easier to invest and start companies. In San Jose, I've led us to have small business growth every year I was mayor, build thousands of new homes, reduce homelessness, and become the safest big city in the country without raising taxes and with a balanced budget. It is time to demand our government do better before we ask you to pay more, starting with actually auditing all of the spending in Sacramento, where we've increased the budget by 75%
Thank you, Mr. Mahan. Thank you.
in
Thank
the
you so
last
much.
6
Okay,
years.
your time is up, Mr. Villaraigosa.
Look, this is the toughest state to do business in the United States of America. You know, you heard our Republican opponents say that Democrats aren't willing to call it like they see it. I've been willing to do that. I've challenged why we send so many businesses out of this state. I've challenged why we have the highest gas prices, the highest utility costs, the highest home prices in the United States of America. It's because we're looking for perfect. Perfect doesn't exist, everybody. That's what comes with a proven problem solver. Someone who's been mayor of Los Angeles, Speaker of the Assembly. The one thing I get, we got to roll up our sleeves and fix these problems. We have the brains of AI and tech, but the brawn's leaving, and we've got to look in the mirror and ask ourselves why. The reason is overregulation. We can do this, protect the environment, protect workers, and protect business at the same time.
Thank you, Mr. Villaraigosa. Mr.
Can you?
Hilton,
Because people are always like, tax the rich,
Matt
tax the
mentioned
rich. That's why they're pulling
restaurants.
up.
I actually did open a couple of restaurants, but not here.
Sorry,
Back
guys.
in the day in England before we moved here with my wife and my family in
And my
2012.
wire.
Unbelievably, it's actually much harder to do it here in
Like, I
California,
was getting a
which should
little
be the
too
home
happy
of
and, like,
enterprise
excited.
and opportunity, the best place in the world to do business.
Like,
and
whoop.
the fact is, when we talk about all those issues, there's this famous saying that comes to mind. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Well, here in California, we've been voting Democrat over and over and over and over again. And look at the results. The highest unemployment rate in the country, the highest poverty rate, the worst climate for business. We cannot expect to make changes for the better if we keep voting Democrat. I will exclude Antonio. I agree with you, Antonio. You definitely have a more pragmatic approach to this, and that's what we need from our next
Thank you,
governor.
Mr. Hilton.
A problem-solving, pragmatic, common-sense approach.
Thank you, Mr. Steyer.
So California remains the best place to start a business and build a business. But it's also the most expensive.
It's not true.
It's the most expensive
It's rated
place.
50th out of 50
It is
states
the most
by
expensive
Chief
place to do
Executive
business.
Magazine.
And the
50th out of
person
50.
on this stage who is going after those costs and driving them down for working Californians is me. And I'm doing it by going after the special interest corporations who are driving up our costs. I'm going after electric costs that are driven by the electric monopolies. I'm going after gas costs that are driven by the oil companies. I'm going after healthcare costs. I'm for single payer. And I'm going after housing costs. What's driving people out of California is the cost of operating here. And I'm talking about it in terms of people.
I don't think it's just the
but it
cost. I think
absolutely
it's
is the
also
same thing
the
in terms of the
stupid
companies that
politics
employ those
as
people
well.
and have to pay them to live here. You can tell I'm doing this because the special interests are spending tens of millions of dollars to stop me. But I'm the person on this stage who's willing to change California and go after the corporate special interests that are driving up the costs for working people.
Your time is up. Mr. Bianco.
As long as we have the same policies that we've had for the last 2 decades, more and more businesses are going to leave. Of course, it's the best place to be. California, of course, is the greatest state in the world. But the taxes here, the regulations here are what are causing people to leave. Yes, we want to live here. We just can't. We want to own a business here. We just can't. So the people that are here on this stage are going to tell you everything you want to hear. They've been telling you that every time they want to get elected, and nothing ever changes. They are not going to deliver anything because it is their policies driving this up. I will make California the most business-friendly in the state because we will no longer punish businesses for being in California. We will remove all of the
why a lot of people are
regulations,
leaving. Look
the
at New York.
regulatory
A lot of those
environment
billionaires
that
are like,
increases cost of
deuces.
business, the PAGA lawsuits that are absolutely destroying every single business simply
watch
to
New
raise
York
more money for
collapse
the
like
state
the
of
way
California because
they
we
did in the
have a
UK,
spending
man.
problem, not a
It's
money
getting
problem.
nuts over there.
Mr. Becerra, you're up next.
Let me give a specific example. Right now, Hollywood is in dire condition because every place in the world wants to have their own Hollywood. We must fight to keep Hollywood here in Southern California because it creates so many great paying jobs. And so I will work with Hollywood. I will work with the industry. I will work with the legislature to make sure we fight back
Hopefully they
against
don't
those who are
bring their
trying to
stupid
steal our industry
woke
away from us.
ideology.
And that means whether it's the tax credit or making sure we graduate the next generation of workers who can work in the entertainment industry, we will make it so attractive that they will not want to leave. But we have to make sure we're graduating the workforce for these industries to locate here. We have to create more public-private partnerships so it's not just that private business that does it on its own, but it knows it's got a government that wants to work with it so they can establish their business here. And we want to make communities livable, where the workforce that will come can know they can buy a house and they can afford to live here. If we do all those things, we'll attract business. And then what we have to do is balance our budget. And as someone who has had to balance a budget bigger than the state of California's budget, I will do that.
Thank you, Mr. Becerra. Ms. Porter.
Yeah, I mean, billionaire Tom Steyer says that California is the best place to do business, and I guess it was for him because he became a billionaire off it. But for the rest of California businesses, it's been a real struggle. He says he's the one doing it, but the truth is he's the one promising it. I've actually brought down costs like prescription drug costs by passing a law in Congress to give people their money back. I actually helped write a bill and testify for a bill that became law to crack down on credit card fees. If we want employers to be able to stay in this state and to add workers to this state, we have to make it affordable for workers to live here. Labor is one of the biggest costs that businesses face, and we have to pay higher wages because the cost of living goes up and then wages go up. This is a terrible cycle. So bringing down the cost of housing, my policies for things like free childcare and a tuition-free UC-CSU degree will do exactly that. It will make it cheaper for people to live here and businesses will benefit.
Thank you, Ms. Porter. Thank you so much. 30 seconds for your reply, Mr. Steyer.
Look, California is the richest state and the richest country in the world.
You are the richest person on this stage.
California is half the growth of the United States of America.
I hate her. In her outfit, she reminds me of the pink lady from Harry Potter. Oh my God, I can't stand that lady either.
The issue we have is the majority of Californians cannot afford to live here.
After 16 years of Democrat one-party rule,
to make ends meet at the end of the month. And that's why I'm talking about driving down costs for working Californians and the companies that employ them.
Thank you, sir.
So moving on, cutting off your mic.
You're one of those billionaires that's staying in California looking for a job here, but there are other billionaires who are moving on. Larry Page and Sergey Brin of Google, Mark Zuckerberg, they've left. Steven Spielberg's left. There are a whole bunch. And obviously it's because, well, they may not say it, but it's not a coincidence that you have on the ballot in November a wealth tax where they come in and first in the nation, where they tax, what do your cars look like? How much are they worth? And what are the watches worth? So yes or no, if this is, again, if it's on your desk as governor, do you support the wealth tax which is on the ballot, which the governor fears is driving billionaires out of the state? And according to the Franchise Tax Board, they pay for about 40% of the income tax. Mayor Villaraigosa, yes or no?
No.
Congresswoman?
No.
What was the question again?
Sheriff, the wealth tax, do you support it or do you oppose it?
Absolutely not.
Mr. Hilton?
No.
Mr. Steyer?
If it's on the ballot, I sign it.
You sign it, okay. Secretary Becerra?
No.
Mr. Mahan?
No, we should charge billionaires in other ways.
Okay.
I agree with Matt.
Are you happy with that, Tom? How do you want to be charged by Matt?
Look, there is a longer... There is a longer
debate,
discussion here.
There is a longer discussion.
That's for another debate. We want to move on. We want
like
to get as many topics in here as possible. The state has spent tens of billions to solve the homeless crisis in this state, and yet there is a perception that the homeless have more rights than the people who live in this state.
The problem is that there are some people that just want to be homeless. Like, they're homeless because they want to. They don't want to work, and they don't want to, like, live in a house.
Is this the new norm?
No, I'm not saying all of them are like that, but there are some that are that
You've got
way.
to start with a very important point, which is no one gets well on the street. That actually being homeless and being on the street, only about 1 in 7 of the people who become homeless have serious mental health or addiction problems, but it's so stressful and dangerous that virtually everybody succumbs to that stress in some major mental health way. So what I would say is it's absolutely critical to keep people from going on the street, that rental assistance is much cheaper and more humane than letting someone go on the street, that emergency interim housing to get people off the street into a single room with a key with shared dining, laundry facilities where you can bring your dog is much more compassionate. But all of those things lead to the point that we don't want our streets to be dangerous. We do want our kids to feel safe. We do want, I'm for someone who wants to build dense housing in the inner city and make it vibrant and walkable and fun. And it's absolutely critical that people feel safe, can walk around.
Chicago has that, and that still doesn't stop the homeless problem. There's people that, like I said, just want to live on the streets. They don't want to be
it was a misstatement
ruled by
anybody.
anybody.
Or not a misstatement, but I will tell you that they are definitely not, they don't have more rights than anyone else.
No, but
they
there
are
is
actually,
a perception.
they are actually pawns in the homeless industrial complex. There is absolutely zero intent on helping any of them. If we did, the billions of dollars that were going there, the numbers wouldn't get more every single year. This is not and has never been about homes. This is about drug and alcohol addiction. This is about mental illness and a combination of both. And until we start calling it what it is and treating it for what it is, we are never going to get out of it. And proof of the last 12 years is right in front of us. It's never going to be better until we get them the treatment that they need. Stop calling it homes. It's mental health, drug addiction, and alcohol addiction combined. The biggest thing that we need is the treatment centers that treat at the same time mental health conditions and drugs and alcohol. Putting a solid roof over someone's head is no different than a tent, and it doesn't mean that you solve the problem.
Sheriff, thank you. Mayor Villaraigosa.
We spent $24 billion from the state and billions more in cities and counties, and during that period, homelessness went up. Folks, we just got to acknowledge we can't just throw money at the problem. We have to invest in what works and stop, spending on what doesn't. What works according to the LAO? Temporary housing works. The Home Key program, rental assistance works, but we need permanent supportive housing as well with services connected to them. But the average unit is $850,000 a unit. Your kids can't afford that. So in San Jose and Los Angeles, we're building small homes for $100,000. We've got to focus on what works and stop throwing money at what doesn't. As governor, that's what I'll do because what we're doing now, just not working. More homelessness than in my life I've ever seen in my lifetime.
It's a state government scam.
Thank you. Secretary Becerra.
So homelessness is also a mental health crisis, and we have to attack that straight on. That's why when I was Secretary of Health and Human Services, we established the 988 program, which functions like 911, but for mental health and suicide prevention. And it is working. We have to start getting people
want to be off the grid. They want to be gray men,
that they need. But
they don't want Big Brother watching them or taking care of them or giving money to the
folks who are getting those billions of dollars. We have to make sure that we scale the projects that work to get people off the streets, and we eliminate those that are failing. But I will tell you this, and I'm glad to hear some of my colleagues beginning to take up what I have said at the beginning. My job as governor, because I don't control the streets of the cities and the counties, is to make sure we prevent more Californians from becoming homeless, because it costs far more to take you off the streets, pick you up, get you the services, and get you the temporary shelter than it does to help you get past that medical emergency or that lost job. Let's keep you in your housing.
Thank you. Representative Porter.
Look, the cause of homelessness is the cost of housing. It is correct that many people who experience long-term or chronic street homelessness develop substance use and mental health issues. But a foster kid who is aging out of foster care with no money to put down for an apartment, that's not mental health problems. That's the cost of living in California. We have higher homelessness in California because our housing costs more than virtually anywhere else. Homelessness prevention is the key. It costs about $6,000 to prevent someone from becoming homeless. That is such a better investment and so much more humane than allowing people to live on the streets. We have to stop making the problem worse. And I think it's appropriate always to do oversight of where our money went. I drive a minivan. My license plate is OVRSITE, oversight. So we should be asking, did we get the bang for our buck? We owe that answer to California taxpayers, and I think we have accountability that's needed here.
Ms. Porter, thank you. Mayor Mahan, talk to us about the city of San Jose and what you've done.
Well, we've created a model for the rest of the state. I want to be really clear that 988 is not going to solve our homelessness problem. We need to have places for people to go. It's all about having alternatives. San Jose has led the way on this issue.
She reminds me of Dolores Umbridge. That's the name. It like popped in my head.
We have moved thousands of people indoors this year for the first time. And I hope I'm going to get the time to actually answer the question. For the first time in our history, a majority of people experiencing homelessness in San Jose will be indoors, not outdoors. I am sick and tired of career politicians' complacency on this issue. No one should be outside in a tent encampment. In San Jose,
some people
we're building
want to.
Interim shelter,
That's the problem.
basic treatment capacity. We are moving people indoors. When those spaces are available, we require people come indoors. I was the first Democrat leading a major city to support Prop 36. Because if you're repeatedly committing crime out on our streets due to addiction, we need to get you into treatment to save your life and to benefit the broader community.
Mayor?
I was interrupted about 10 times.
We let you go extra time. We did. Mr. Hilton.
I was just trying to offer a fact check. Homelessness actually has gone up in San Jose.
It's actually about flat. What's important, though, is we've moved thousands of people indoors, 30% of whom have graduated to permanent housing. The number of people dying on our streets has gone down.
Mayor?
It's a solution.
Mayor, Mr. Hilton.
As you
bro,
noted,
let him
he
talk.
didn't challenge the fact that homelessness has gone up on his watch. Now, the good news in this debate is that actually there's a lot of agreement among many of the candidates about the nature of the problem and how we solve it. But we got to think about the fact that who's been in charge all these years? Some of these Democrats on the stage here, they talk as if we're in some parallel universe where Democrats haven't been running this state for the last 16 years of one-party rule. I mean, you look at Xavier, 36 years he's been a career politician for Democrats. It's just got to change. We need change if we're going to make progress, and that is what Chad's plan is exactly right, and I just add one thing to it, which is we need to enforce the law when it comes to homelessness. Just as Spencer Pratt laid out in the mayor's debate to you earlier, it's illegal to live and camp on the streets, and that's the starting point. We can't get people,
I have to give Mr. Becerra a chance to respond to that.
You know, I'm proud of my service as a member of Congress, as the Attorney General fighting off Donald Trump, as the Secretary who brought the country to the highest rate of insurance coverage in the nation's history. What I would ask is, what does a Fox News talking head know about running government? You've never balanced a budget the size of California, Steve. You've never had to worry about declaring a state of emergency the way I had to. I'm proud of my service and my public service.
Have people that
private
are
profit.
coming
I
in
was doing
that
public
don't
service.
Mr. Becerra,
have the experience of politics, which is good because they're coming in here with fresh thoughts, fresh ideas, and they're not
according
tainted
to the New York
by,
Times, they were maimed,
you know,
they
like,
were exploited, they were,
like
some were even killed. You
the deep state,
those are
or, you know,
MAGA
like the
talking
left or
points.
right people.
It's a MAGA hoax.
Like
Tell
APAC
that
or
to the
DNC.
children who died.
So I'm not sure what that had to do with homelessness, but cálmate, Antonio, cálmate.
Well, I'll tell you what it had to do.
It's
about your service.
He said, "Don't talk to me like that, Bobby."
The attack.
That's what it has to do with.
Thank you, Mr. Hilton. I'll give you a moment.
Wait,
I'll tell you what I haven't done.
We could go on about homelessness.
I don't know if these guys are Persian, but I can't wait to hear one of them pop off. If they do, if they're like,
I get 30 seconds to respond to the attack. by Mr. Villaraigosa. So I would like my 30 seconds.
Okay, I will give you 30 seconds. Mr. Hilton, you get 30 seconds.
Okay.
Then we move on to the next topic.
So
Got it.
Trump lied about this whole situation with the migrant kids in 2024.
Did the New York Times lie?
Why don't you let me finish, Antonio?
Okay.
Antonio
Donald Trump
Banderas.
campaigned against our Democratic candidate, Kamala Harris, vice president, in 2024, using these lies. In 2026, now you have candidates like Antonio and Tom Steyer using these very lies. They were lies when Trump said them 2 years ago. They're lies today.
What are the
We
lies,
protected
bro?
kids.
Say it.
We did not let them be abused. Those were the employers. But stop lying. The facts are the facts.
Okay.
There were congressional hearings.
26
Hilton,
Democrats
Hilton,
condemned him. They said it was outrageous that he pushed kids out.
What was
You said
outrageous
it
was the
on
exploitation
tape.
by the
You said on
employers,
tape.
not the care that they
Henry
got.
Ford
Please.
invented the assembly line. Put them on an assembly
Cálmate,
line. Get them
Antonio.
out of here.
Mr.
They're illegal.
Villaraigosa,
That's
I'm
what you
only
said.
going to ask you one more time.
He's like, I'm going to
please.
cut your mic.
Please. We have a lot of topics here
Mic
this
check.
evening. I laid out the ground rules. You had a chance to respond. Mr. Hilton, you get 30 seconds. Then we move on. Mr. Hilton.
Thank you very
Damn.
much. I tell you what I haven't done, Javier, is break state
Spicy.
and federal law by taking money from a campaign account and funneling it to a senior aide, breaking those laws and then denying it. I tell you what I haven't done, which we revealed today, which is to take a taxpayer-funded organization from your money, your taxes are paying illegal immigrants to campaign for Xavier Becerra through an organization called Churla, and he's accepted their endorsement. It is completely outrageous.
So Colleen,
Oh my
once
God,
again-
why are you booing?
Once again.
Stupid.
No, we have to move on.
Wait, time
the
out.
next
He
subject,
just made-
the next topic is sanctuary. I think it's very important. Listening to the audience here, listening to the group. Enrique has a question. Please.
Colleen, so long as I understand, if a candidate is attacked,
No,
the
it
candidate's
wasn't. It
not
was
gonna
up to
get-
them, and she said no. Let's move on.
We'll get back to you in
Moving
a second.
on,
We gotta
guys,
move
moving
This is really
on.
important. Okay, so this
These are
is
not the
at
droids
discretion
you're
of the
looking for.
moderators here, I've given everybody a chance
She
to
should
respond.
use the force.
Please
Like-
stop with the attacks. We do the voters a disservice
I
when we
agree.
attack like that.
I
we
agree.
are trying to get more information about the topics at hand. So, sanctuary.
the state sanctuaries law, as we know, that restricts local authorities from cooperating with federal agents, federal immigration officers. My question goes to Mr. Bianco. What is one thing, Mr. Bianco, you would replace or change about the current sanctuary law in California? One aspect, just one.
I would eliminate sanctuary state. Sanctuary state is what is creating the issue that we have in California. It didn't exist before 2017.
All the
Immigration
sanctuary
it is
states
the
and cities need to
responsibility of
go.
the federal government to enforce immigration laws. And prior to 2017, they would come into our jails and they would come into our prisons and they would remove those criminals who are victimizing us and they would deport them. That ended with sanctuary state law SB 54. They forced us to release those people back into our communities, and then ICE has to go into the communities to get them instead of in the safety and security of the jail.
Yep.
Bianco, so if
I've been
the
saying
county
that.
jails can communicate
I've been
with
saying
ICE
it.
if the person in question is a convicted felon of a violent crime.
Okay.
So what would be the difference then if you want to change something?
There's a huge difference because I have someone in my jail right now that if the Attorney General wants to arrest me when I turn him over,
felon?
he's convicted of a felony, but the 3 prior convictions for DUI, he was released from jail. He was deported on 2 of them back into the country, and then he killed a 14-year-old boy with another DUI. So we have to wait until somebody dies before we deport criminals who are in our jail. And
For real.
those people who are released from the jail,
Thank you, Mr.
immigration enforcement officials have to go into the communities to get
Mr.
them.
Bianco.
And that is why we see what we see on
And they
the
can't
streets.
get mad at
Really
ICE
quick,
or
30
anybody else.
seconds.
This
He
is
said
the
He
fault
said
of
that
sanctuary
yesterday.
states and
It's just
cities.
not true. 12,000 undocumented violent criminals.
Tell that to the
turned
family
over-
that
Wait
lost
one
their
second.
child.
Look, I know you're an oath keeper and you feel like you can do
Oath
whatever
keeper.
you want, but let me
Proudly,
be clear.
again.
Let me finish my thing.
You're
May I have
stripped.
my time back?
Yeah, okay, yes, we're going to give it to you.
Let me
Continue.
just say,
Continue.
in point of fact, you keep on saying that they don't turn over violent criminals.
No, I
They
didn't.
don't.
It's not true.
No, I
they
didn't.
do. They've turned over 12,000
Not
since
always.
2019.
It obviously wasn't enough.
Well,
Mr. Villaraigosa, thank you. Ms. Porter, you want to say something about this issue?
Yeah, I mean, I think we ought to
Oh no,
enforce the
it's
existing
Umbridge.
sanctuary laws everywhere so we don't have crazy cowboys taking the law into their own
Tell
hands.
that to a crazy mother who lost her child.
Sir, I don't need any lectures from you about being a mother.
Of course.
He didn't lecture you about that. Ooh, shots fired.
All you have done this evening is shout past me and not given me a chance to respond.
That was obviously a scripted answer that didn't fit, but go ahead.
But please, I'm sorry, everybody.
No,
we
I'm not
asked
going to
at the
be,
beginning,
excuse me,
not for this.
I'm not going to be lectured because I have not interrupted a single
I
person.
understand, Congresswoman. You have the floor.
So I think it's important to recognize that our sanctuary laws are only as good as the enforcement of them. We have entities right now, including local sheriffs, including state agencies in a lot of our counties that are violating sanctuary law. He says he wants to enforce the sanctuary law. He wants to do away with the sanctuary law policy. That's because he doesn't want to have to follow it. Every Californian deserves the protection of their governor. Every Californian deserves the protection of their governor. Keep talking over me.
You know, Sheriff, you had an opportunity to speak. Ms. Porter, you have.
I respect you, but I don't need your help being defended. Thank you.
Okay.
Wow,
we have a final
Becky.
question.
Right, so
She's so spicy. This is why they're not going to help her now.
This is a key question.
We have a final question.
But very quickly, the Democrats on this panel, for the most part, support the sanctuary state law. Is that in agreement, Mr. Secretary? It would be Mr. Mahan, Mayor.
Yeah, I'd like to say,
I'd like to be able to respond to the accusations that were made.
I'd like to just answer the
Sheila.
question.
I'd like to answer the question too.
No, please, let me at least ask. You all said I was going to get to answer that
Time
question.
is your enemy here.
Okay, may I then answer the
30
question?
seconds. We're going to start with Mr. Becerra. 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Mr. Becerra.
SB
Go,
54
sir.
of the Values Act, sanctuary law. I defended it against Donald Trump's attacks the first time he was president.
Of course,
and I beat
of
him.
course. You're
That's
talking
why we
about
still
Trump.
have that law in place. I stopped ICE from trying to force our law enforcement to do ICE raids because I beat Donald Trump in court. As governor, I will investigate ICE. We will prosecute ICE. We will convict ICE if they have violated the law. And what I will
If they
tell
violate the law, but
Steve
they're not
and
because the
Chad
federal law
that
is
Sheila
the law
one
of the land.
the
It's
biggest defenders
supremacy.
of immigrant rights.
So they got nothing. This guy is all talk. Because he can't do ish to the federal agents.
As the mayor of the safest big city in the
Oh,
country, I can affirm that our
Pretty sure it's
sanctuary
not.
laws do not provide sanctuary to criminals. What
Yes,
they
they do.
do is they
Do
build
you have
trust
illegals?
between law enforcement officers and
Because
the
if you
community
do,
they
then you
serve.
have
We don't
criminals.
ask our police officers to check your tax returns or your immigration papers because we want you
never
to
did.
report. Let me finish. We want you to report crime, serve as a witness, provide evidence, but we absolutely have to enforce our laws and keep people safe, and we can do both. I do want to say, though, Antonio is absolutely right about the secretary's failure on the immigration issue. There is a direct line.
Matt, that's an absolute lie.
There's a direct line between his failed leadership and Donald Trump being in the White House.
Oh my God, of
So
course.
once again, an attack. Do I get to respond to the false attack?
You have 30 seconds.
Thank
really
you.
quick. 30 seconds.
Those were Trump lies in 2024. And now that you're peddling them, Matt, they're still lies. Lies don't become facts because you're a Democrat and Trump was a Republican. You're just peddling a Republican's
I don't
lies.
think Democratic
And-
Congress
and
members
if there
like
were
AOC
26
or
of them
were lying.
said it was outrageous. If I could just finish with my time. We stopped what Donald Trump was doing. Remember those days? Trump was putting kids in cages. Donald Trump was separating children from their parents. We stopped that. We took care of them. We protected those kids. We didn't do what Trump did, and
Thank
we're
you,
not
Mr.
using
Becerra. I
lies
want to
to
hear
do
from
that.
Mr.
children to
Steyer
homes
and Mr.
without
Hilton.
background
Really
check.
quick, Mr. Steyer.
Let me say this. ICE is a criminal organization. They're coming into our state. They're terrorizing people. They're racially profiling people, and they're harming people and committing violence against them. I'm in favor of abolishing ICE. But along the way,
can't,
I
because
did
it's a
push for the
federal thing.
sanctuary state law, which I absolutely believe in. But more than that, we should be prosecuting ICE agents for racial
Nope.
profiling. It's illegal.
They're
in the
not
state of
racially
California.
profiling anybody.
We should be prosecuting them.
They
for
have a
violence
paper
against
saying,
California.
hey,
It's
we're
illegal,
looking
and
at
we
this
should go
guy
for change
just like in
to the
any other
people
criminal
who
case, and
who
you're going to
asked
look
them to
and
commit
stop
violence,
anybody that
including
looks
Stephen
like
Miller.
that.
The truth is we should be investigating their detention centers that they will not show that are dangerous, and they won't let anyone in. And I guess you can figure why.
Anybody could go in there as long as it's like scheduled.
Built by immigrants. They continue to make this state run. And the idea that we let agents from Washington, D.C. with masks and assault rifles come in here and terrorize them is absolutely against Californian values, and the governor is here to protect Californians.
Tom, you profited off of those detention centers.
Mr. Hilton, we're going to... Mr. Hilton.
The private prison system.
Mr. Mahan, thank you so much. Mr. Hilton, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Unlike everybody else here, I actually am an immigrant. I'm a proud American citizen, and I am the candidate of the legal immigrant community for the legal immigrant community so that they can have the California dream. Just as my parents had it when they moved from Hungary, fleeing communism, to build a new life in England. That's what California is all about. But it's got to be managed and orderly and legal. And that's what we have to be honest about in this whole discussion about immigration and its enforcement. I can tell you very clearly that when I'm governor, as I've said, I will be there for our immigrant communities, our legal immigrant communities, but also we'll make sure that all our laws are peacefully enforced. We can't just stand up here and decide which laws we like and which laws we don't. If we don't like the laws, we've got to change them. But the governor's job is to enforce them, and as governor, I will do that peacefully and calmly and cooperatively with the federal immigration authorities.
Mr. Hilton, are you aware that not every immigrant has the privilege that maybe you had to come to this country with a visa?
I understand exactly what it's like to be
not
in a
everybody should be welcome in our
those
country either.
Because that's my life and my story. When my parents
like as long as you do it the legal way, and if you're allowed to come in, then that's fine. But if not, then kick rocks.
Story, just like so many millions in California. My stepdad worked construction. My first job, project manager for a construction company. So yes, I absolutely understand that. And that opportunity is what I want for every single one of you.
Thank you, sir.
Every single one.
Okay, we have a few minutes left. What we're going to do is ask you several questions, as many as we can get in, yes or no answers. Please respect the time we have left. We want to get as much information out to voters. Enrique.
So as of this year, undocumented adults can no longer enroll in Medi-Cal. Would you reinstate this if you become governor? Yes or no? Mr. Villaraigosa?
Yes.
Ms. Porter?
Yes.
Nope.
Mr. Bianco?
No.
Mr. Hilton?
No.
Mr. Steyer?
Yes.
Mr. Becerra?
Yes.
Mr. Mahan?
Yes.
All right, film and television. It is the backbone, or was the backbone, of California. We've seen a lot of production move out of state. On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you place this in terms of priority? I believe we touched on it earlier, but I'd like a commitment from you.
Number 1.
That's your top priority in the whole state?
Holy crap.
Please answer the question, Ms. Porter. On a scale of 1 to 10, is it a priority?
It's a priority,
well,
yes.
Of course it's a priority. Everyone's going to say, it's a priority. Of course it is.
Yeah. It's a weird question, to be honest. I agree with Katie.
Bipartisanship. I think you might even get all of us to agree with that one.
Let me give you a yes or no very quickly. We have 2 minutes left. If you don't mind, Colin.
2 minutes, guys, 2 minutes.
Beach and San Luis Obispo County. Diablo Canyon, the only nuclear power plant left in the state, 9% of the electricity. We pay 3 times the power in the rest of the nation. It's supposed to go offline in 2030. Do you extend it? Mayor Mahan, yes or no?
Keep it open.
Mr. Secretary Becerra.
Yes, if safety, yes, but safety first.
Right, I'm sorry, Tom Steyer.
Extend it.
Extend it, okay. Mr. Hilton.
Yes, extend it and build new ones.
Chad Bianco, the sheriff.
Completely nuclear.
Okay. Katie Porter.
Extend.
Okay. Antonio.
Yes.
All right, let me rephrase the film question. Would you extend tax credits to match other countries and other states? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Bianco?
Yes.
Yes, I published my plan on this last week.
Yes
I would
or no,
exceed other countries. We got to be
yes
the
or no?
best
Mr.
in the
Steyer?
world.
Yes.
Mr. Becerra?
Yes, and it's an 11 on a scale of 1 to 10.
Thank you.
Yes, I
of
was
course,
the first
they want
candidate
that
to put out a plan
money
to
from
address
those
that.
production companies. They don't want them to leave.
Again, we got a minute left. Under the California Education Code, you perform in an athletic event, K through 12, based on your identification by gender. Would you change that law to match the IOC that you identify based on your your birth at gender. Yes or no, very quickly, we have 30 seconds left. Mr. Mahan?
Sorry, change which law? State law?
The current law says you identify, and that's how you participate.
Yeah, but at higher levels, I would let the leagues decide.
Yeah, okay, Mr. Becerra?
Enforce the law.
Okay, Mr. Steyer? 15
Allow
seconds.
trans athletes to participate.
Mr. Hilton?
I have a wristband that says Save Girl Sports, and I
Chad
will.
Bianco, Katie Porter.
That guy rocks.
Yes, enforce the existing law.
That wraps it up for us. June 2nd.
Quarter four growth reports are in. Who would like to run with this?
Yeah, so that's what we have so far, guys. So I guess we're gonna leave it here tonight. Make sure you guys go raid Arturo's the Daily Discord's stream. I believe he's still streaming right now. Let him know Harley sent you. I want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share, guys. I'll be back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. You guys have a great night.